Okay, hi everybody. Haven't been around for a while. I've been having a little break from social media. Had awful bout of flu. Came on Boxing Day, and I just couldn't shake it off. I was really off my game for about a week, and it just seemed to drag on. And it's only really in the last couple of weeks that I've started to feel a bit more myself and more inclined to have a go at getting back into some sort of routine. It just absolutely wiped me out. So I don't know what happened to January and the best part of February, but there we go. I'm hoping to be able to do a few more videos a little bit more regularly now. But one thing I did do was I treated myself to this book by Johana, Basford. It's been around for several years now, Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, and if you're a coloured pencil artist, you may very well have seen the book or have your own copy and worked your way through it. I mean, it's quite a tome. There's lots to it. Whether I actually get through the whole lot, I really don't know. I wouldn't say I was any way an expert. There's some really, really good pencil colorists on YouTube. You've only got to Google coloured pencil adult colouring books and you will be amazed at the quality of work that's some of these people are putting out. They are fantastic, really fantastic. I'm nowhere near that. I just love, I think it's the colours for me, and doing something different. As you know, I do watercolours, occasionally oils. I enjoy acrylic, especially if I'm doing those landscapes, and I've got my old scrubby brush going, and yeah, I really enjoy that. But I thought I would use my coloured pencils and just see how I manage to, well, basically see how far I get with this before I get either too overwhelmed or a bit fed up with it, to be honest. But anyway, that's the book. The pencils I'm going to be using are my Faber-Castell PolyChromos, and they are probably more European than American style pencils. Prismacolor, I understand, has a wax carrier for the pigment, whereas PolyChromos uses an oil carrier for the pigment. So they behave slightly different from how I gather, and I do believe that the Prismacolors are much more intense and vivid than these PolyChromos. But what I like about these is that I can do very light layers and build up my colour through those layers, and then add other colours with it, to change it all. But this was I actually was lucky enough to win a Best in Prize award for a painting that I did last summer, and I got a small cash prize and a nice little plaque. Let me just show you, see if I can find the plaque to show you. Here it is. It's my local art club at Scrapby here in Norfolk on the coast, and I was absolutely thrilled to win. I didn't really expect to, because I mean we have some nice artists in our art club, and there were 3 independent judges come along, and they voted for their best 3, and I happened to win best in show, which was lovely. And I got this nice little award here. I don't know if you can see it. It says Scrapby Art Club Winter Exhibition 1922 Best in Show, and it's lovely. It's like a little sort of reminds me of a lump of ice, to be honest. But I could use it as a paperweight, or I just thought that was charming. And I got a small cash prize as well of £25. So what I thought I would do with that money, rather than just go and perhaps fritter it away, I'd go and spend it on something that I really liked and would use and keep. And my PolyChromos, I always kept them in the tins, so every time I wanted to do something I used to have to get out these trays, and I'd be surrounded by these trays. For me, I don't know, it just seemed to be a bit off-putting, too much of a faff. So I bought this. I got this on Amazon. I'll link it below. If I'm not affiliate or anything, I used this prize money to get this. I think this was under £25. In fact, I think it's about 20. But it holds about 150 pencils, and I think the PolyChromos are 120. So because I had the full, lucky enough to have the full set. But look at these. I've put them in colour. Can you hear my cat? My cat keeps yowling in the next room. I've put them in colour families, and I found a lady on YouTube who had done this, and she'd very kindly linked to a chart that you could use to put your colours in families, and she's done one also for Prismacolors. And I'll put her details below as well. So what I did the other day, I went through and I put them all into their colour families, which for me made much more sense, because here I've got like the yellows, and then the orangey yellows, and the pinks, and the bluey pinks, and then into the purpley pinks, and the blues, and the greeny blues, and the green blues, and the blue greens, and the yellows, the greeny yellows. And for me, it makes much more sense, having been used to primarily doing watercolours, because this is how, very similar to how I set out my watercolour palette, although I don't have 150 colours. And I've got a few Caran d'Ache Luminesse here, which I use occasionally if I've done some watercolours. And then, this was the chart that I got, and I filled these in. So what I'll do is I'll link this below as well for you. So the space is here for two. You can get 2 or 3 pencils in there, or possibly thicker markers. If you're into marker pens, get thick markers in there. And then these are my micron pens for coloured work. And then there's these little things here, so you can put your pencils and eraser, and this is things stop stuff getting wet, but you can put something else in there, and that's that silica gel stuff, so that can go in there. So I really like this. So what I'll do is I'll keep the colour chart out, because I shall use that today, and I'll sit out my colours and see what we can do. Where shall I put them? I'm a bit limited for space. Let me just have a bit of a move around. The thing I'm going to do today, I actually made a start in this book, and I think I'll carry on with that today. And on the inside of the cover there's these little motifs, would you call them, of flowers. There's butterflies, birds and other stuff, and I thought for me that would be a good idea to get my sort of hand in and practice with the coloured pencils, because I haven't used them for a long time, and that will help me get used to the things like the shading, and the colours that I could be using, and really play with the colours to see which colours I like to use for things like leaves in particular. I do like this one. I think that is nice, and I think that is cobalt green shade, dark. Not sure. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to carry on with this, and perhaps we can get a few flowers or something done, and we'll see how the progress goes. And I'll use my colour chart, I think, to decide what colours to use. Right, I've sorted my colours out. What I've decided on is, I don't know if you'll see that, chrome oxide green fiery. I've got some leaf here, so I'll use that. Mauve for the darker outer leaves. This one is light magenta, if you can see it. You can see it. And I've got a dark cadmium orange, and also, oh dear, I can't read that myself. Let's put my glasses on. I'll put my, put my glasses on, that would help, wouldn't it, Ruth? There we go. And this one's cadmium yellow. Okay, and I'm going to do this. So let me just get you a little bit closer. And is that all right like that, do you think? And we'll see how it goes. As I say, it may or may not work out okay, but we'll see how it goes. I always never know where to start with these, you know. Do you ever have the same problems? See, I just think that's going to be a little bit of yellow, isn't it, on there, and then dark in there. And then, right, let's start with this little chap round here. See, it's very, you might not even be able to see that, but that's very, very pale. But it does allow me to build up my colours, and I tend to do my watercolours like this. I use an awful lot of water in my paints when I do watercolour, very loose and diluted colour, and then just add you know, more paint if I need it, and I feel more comfortable building it up gradually than, you know, going for it straight off and putting those colours straight in. Okay, let's go with this one now. I've got no idea how it's going to turn out. It might be alright, it might be a complete disaster. As I say, I'm not really that good. I just colour for the pleasure of it. Oops, went over the line there. See what I mean? But am I worried? No. Who's going to see it apart from me? Oh, and you, of course. You won't tell though, will you? I think I'll put some down here. I'm actually doing, it looks as if I'm going up and down, but I'm actually doing sort of like a, let me just show you this piece of paper. It's sort of like an oval shape like that, not this thing, but sort of oval, and it makes for a much better blending, whereas if you're doing up and down like that, it's not quite the same. Whereas with this, and I'm not pressing heavily, and my pencil is just sort of gliding over the paper, because I want to be able to leave it so that I can put more pressure on to get a darker colour if I needed it. I'll give you a tip, and everybody seems to be doing this. Use a piece of, or a couple of sheets of copier paper between the page you're working on and the following page. I'm actually working straight onto my table, but I've still put that underneath, just so that if I do press hard, I don't get the grain of the table coming through, or transfer what's on the underside onto the table or the page underneath, and actually spoil. I've gone over the line again. Spoil things. And also another little tip is, if you're doing something curved, go in the shape of the item, and that actually helps make it more realistic if possible. Right, I've got some waves on here. And Oh, my cats aren't very happy. They're next door. They were 6 months old the other week, so they're only quite young, but they're a bit demanding. They do like to get involved, and the trouble is, I love them to bits, but if I let them in here, they'll be over everything. Now I'm starting to build up the layers here, and I'm actually using this light magenta, and I'm going over both of my previous layers. So I had a layer of the what was that, mauve, and the light magenta, and I'm using the light magenta to go over the whole lot, and that sort of put another layer of interest on, and it's changed the colour of the magenta, the darker colour. It's starting to give it a bit of depth, hopefully. Then I build up more and more layers as I go along, and I'll do the same here. And that'll gradually add colour. Be careful if you're using particularly light colours, as with any sort of paint really. Be careful when you do it and work from light to dark, because unless of course you want to drag the dark colour into the lighter colour, and that can change it quite a bit. Right, we'll do another layer of what is that? Mauve. Gosh, memory retention of a goldfish. No insult to goldfish intended. Right. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll do a bit of the centre. This is cadmium yellow, and this is really nice as far as a coloured pencil is concerned. The funny thing is, I don't often use it as a watercolour. I'm not fond of this as a watercolour, and I really don't know why, because it's lovely. This is really frilly along here, isn't it? See if we can get that going. Right, now let's do the orange. Sometimes you might find you get like a bloom or bits of the pencil dust everywhere. Try not to do it with your fingers, because you might end up transferring some of that colour onto a white area, or an area where you don't want it, because it's colour after all, so either blow it away or use a soft paintbrush or something like that. I've got an old makeup brush that I sometimes use, but that's in the studio, and I'm in the kitchen at the moment. It's a bit too chilly in the studio. I just can't face it at the moment in there. Probably done this back to front. I probably should have the orange in the base there, but who cares? It's my flower. Can soon alter that. We'll pop a bit of orange in there. We'll go around here, around the edges. There's that yellow, and we'll go over it all again. Bring the two colours together. Oh, sorry about that, but it looks as if the video stopped recording. I hope I didn't miss too much, didn't lose too much, but anyway, I've done my layers there, and I'm just putting another layer on here just to darken and strengthen it up a little bit. I do have, let me just see if I can find that. It's in here. It's a great little, here it is. thing. There we are. I don't know if any of you have one of these or have seen them before. It's made by Tombow and it's a mono zero. And this little bit here, I don't know if you can see that at the end there. That is an eraser. And they go in a bit like propelling pencil. And you can actually use it to bring out some highlights. Good. And bring some down here with these lines. You know, if you forget to, like I did, work with the shape of the petals, you can just give a little bit of lift. There we are, that doesn't look too bad, does it? Right, where am I? Right, so we'll see what we can do here. So we just need to darken down here. These are little ripples here, so where it's got like a point on it, that's where the light will hit it, and where it's got a curve and a dip, that'll be sort of darker. So let's see if we can get this right this time, because it certainly didn't look right earlier. There we go, that looks a bit better, doesn't it? When I started to do this, I just seemed to forget all about the principles that I'd learned with regards to my watercolour art. You know, about shade, tone, light, dark, just all went out the window. And right, it looks like we're getting there. We can darken along here. Just put another layer of the, I mean, I probably could have used a more pinky pink, or kept it, or a more bluey purple. This is not too bad. So go from there, and then just building up the layers to add a bit of tone and depth and interest. Right, let's, oh hang on, let's just, oops. Right, let's put some of this in here. Okay, shall I make it orange? Perhaps a little bit of orange on, oops. Cross-eyed, oh, they look a bit better, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, and with the leaves, I'm just going to put a layer of yellow on, so under base, because I'm hoping that it'll lighten it all up. There we go. Oh, outside the line again. Hopeless, hopeless, hopeless. Put a little bit of purple along there, just give a bit of shadow. Right, so I've got there. Let me just get a, put a little bit of shadow in. That one, I think. I'm going to try using a grey. Faber-Castell do a range of greys. They do warm greys and cold greys, and I'm going to use a cold grey because this is in sort of like the cold spectrum purples. Just put a little bit under here. Trying to work out which layer's behind which here. So that goes behind there. That can come down here. No, that's on top of that. Is this on top of that? Yeah, I think that's on top of that. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. I think. Hang on. Let's just make this. Looks a little bit insipid there, doesn't it? There we go. Just go over this again. Make it nice and sharp. Going over it with the base colour you put down helps to sort of blend the colours together, and or you could use a blending stick, but I quite like doing it this way. Right, well I think, there we go, let's pop it in the middle of the thing for you. Well, that's another one done. What I'd normally do, I would then look to see if I've got any more of these on the page, and I don't think there is actually. I think that's the only one, because normally they're on a row. See, there's this here. I need to do that one. Oh, sorry, you can't see. Let me just bring you out. Right, yeah, so there's no more of this one on the row. There's this one and there's this one, so I need to do that one. Like here, there's only that little fellow, what's that, forget-me-not probably, in this row. So I would then have another look and decide which flower I wanted to do. See, there's this one and that one. So, you know, rather than sort of just do this one and then this one and that one, I've been looking for patterns basically where there's two or more of the same flower or leaf in the row, and then I've been doing that flower or leaf just to work my way through this page, and then I can make sure that gradually I get it all filled in, and then I'll probably leave the little sort of what would you call them, additions, the butterfly, the bird, there's a teacup, teapot, and I think there was something else I saw. There's a teapot there, and I would leave those until last and then do those. Whether I do a background, I don't know. I did actually put some colour around this one here and shadow on that one. I'm not overly fond of it. I might put background colour on, I don't know, but that's something that I can do later. You know, it was just working through this and getting my hand in and just building this up before I actually went for the main event. So there we go. I'll leave it there for the moment, and good luck if you're working your way through the book. I do have quite a few to go, so wish me luck, and I probably won't do them all at the same at once. The old brain needs a break from time to time, so I'll intersperse it with some of my watercolours and all my usual stuff that I have on my channel, but I will try to record when I do something in the book, and then that will, you know, if you are working your way through it, and you don't feel that perhaps you're doing that well, then we can perhaps do it together and console each other. Anyway, that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching and getting this far in the video. I just feel as if I've talked too much. I'm sorry about that. It's probably because I haven't seen you for such a long time. Anyway, have a lovely day, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.